Hi, friends. How are you? Barry, it's good to see you.
See you
You
too.
know, here right now where I live, it is spring. And in spring, we frequently plant gardens. And Barry, I know you're a big gardener. Are you planting your garden right now?
I am got lots of stuff in there. I have a lot of root crops and stuff that grows beneath the soil, like potatoes and beets and onions and carrots and yeah, stuff like that. So that's already in. Snow peas are in because they can handle little weather, and I'm starting to get other stuff ready to go in too. It's an exciting time for us gardeners.
So how about you, friends? Maybe you guys are working on a garden. What is it you like to plant? And this also has me wondering, what do you do to kind of prepare the garden for whatever it is you're going to grow? And then what do you do to take care of it? So Barry, do you have any ideas about that?
Yeah, well, you got to prepare the soil that you're going to plant the garden in. So you want to clean it out, clean all the weeds and the old stuff out of there, rake it up, and you want to put in. I like to put in compost if I'm going to plant stuff, because I'm always making compost. Um, and so just getting it ready and mixing all that stuff in and making sure that you've got good fertile soil. The key is to have good fertile soil for your seeds to grow in before you plant them. So soil preparation is a big part of it.
And then is there anything I have to do once I actually plant the seeds?
Yeah, watering it really helps. But watering it, and maybe putting on compost a little every couple of weeks as they're growing, so that they have some nutrients, and picking the weeds and just maintaining the stuff. So it's something that you're working on all the time because there's always weeds in the garden, and it's cool watching stuff grow and going out into your garden and looking at it and kind of interacting with it and getting more comfortable with it and just watching the process is that's a big part of the fun, really.
Okay, well, I actually know a story about seeds and gardens. And this story is a parable. So a parable is a story that has a lesson or a message or a moral that applies to people no matter where they live or who they are. Okay, a parable. And this parable is called The Seed and the Sower, and it is a Christian parable. So in the story of the seed and the sower, there is a sower. Yep, see him? And he's got his bag of seeds, and to sow means to plant. So a sower is someone who goes out and plants seeds, just like in this picture. All right, so one day the sower went out to sow some seeds. And as he sowed his seeds, right, he's sowing his seeds, he's dropping them down. The first ones that he drops, he actually drops onto a path. And on the path, people come walking, stamp on the seeds, and the birds come, and the birds eat up the seeds, right? So the first set of seeds trampled and eaten by the birds. And then he goes ahead and he takes some of his seed and he drops it where there's some rocks. And the thing about rocks is that there's not a lot of dirt and not a lot of moisture a lot of times. So the sun comes out and dries up all the seeds before they can really grow because there's not enough moisture. And then he takes the seeds, and where he drops them, there are some thistles. So thistle is a kind of plant that's spiky. It usually has spiky leaves, or it might have thorns on it, and it grows really fast and tends to take over wherever it is. So the seeds that fell where the thistles are didn't really have a chance because the thistles kind of crowded them out and wouldn't let them grow. But then he drops some of the seed on good ground. The soil is good, the water is good, the sun is good, and those seeds grew and 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 bore fruit 100-fold. That means a lot. There was a lot of fruit that grew out of those particular seeds, and some amazing plants that grew out of those seeds. The end. So the seed and the sower is all about the seeds, and they fall in all these different places, and they grow. Some of them grow, some of them don't grow, and why they don't grow, right? And when I heard that story, it kind of made me think about my mind. So we all have a brain in our head, and we have a mind, and we have thoughts that come out of our mind. And it got me wondering about choosing my thoughts, planting my thoughts in my mind, just like seeds get planted in a garden. And, you know, there were some challenges in that story for those seeds with the rocks and the birds and the thistles. And if I'm planting seeds in my mind, if I'm planting thoughts in my mind, just like those seeds, how do I get them to grow? How do I get them to come true? How do I get them to grow? Barry, what do you think? Is there a way that I can help my thoughts grow?
Definitely. It's the thing of going back to the seeds in the story grew when they fell on fertile ground. And so we have thoughts, we have ideas, we have plans. We think like, wow, that'd be great. We've got to plant that in fertile ground in our mind. And, just like we feed our garden with compost, we want to feed our mind with good thoughts. And we want to place our interest and our attention on the things that we want to grow. So our interest and attention has a lot to do with the things that we're excited about have a tendency to grow in our lives. And so if we come up with an idea that we think is a good one, we want to bring our attention to it, bring our focus to it. And the negative thoughts that come in are kind of like the thistles, kind of like the weeds that grow up. And they're going to be growing in our minds, and we need to pull those out of there. And we need to be conscious of them. And we need to pay attention to our thoughts and be conscious of them, and be careful to think good thoughts, because seeds get scattered everywhere. And our minds are really like very, very fertile gardens. They are. And they accept whatever we put in there. Any kind of seed that you put into the soil, good soil will grow that seed without questioning what it is. And it's the same thing with our thoughts. So everything starts with our thoughts. We want to have good thoughts, and we want to plant them in very fertile minds.
Yeah, I love that. So if I have a garden, I want to plant things that I actually like, right? Either it's a food I want to eat or a flower I want to see. So if I choose my thoughts, just like I would carefully choose my seeds, and then I've already prepared that soil, just like I prepare my mind for the things that I want, and then I pay attention to them so they kind of take root, just like a seed would in the garden. And then I make sure that I pull out the weeds, right? The negative stuff, so my good thoughts can keep growing. And then I practice them and watch them, and they grow and grow and grow. Is there someone in particular that can help us with our thoughts, Barry?
Well, I think God can help us with our thoughts, because God created all things, and God created all this stuff that we see around us, all the things that grow, all the different varieties of plants and trees and bushes and vegetables and flowers. That was all created by God, and that's where all these seeds began. And I think that process goes in nature, and it also goes in us. And so in nature, we're trying to create the perfect environment for seeds to grow. And now that it's springtime, we can see that the environment is perfect, and the seeds are all bursting forth into these beautiful flowers. All around us, beautiful flowers, because the conditions are perfect. What I know for everybody that's watching today is the conditions are perfect in you to grow into the person you want to be, to grow your ideas, to grow your dreams. The conditions are perfect. It's set there right now. So all you got to do is plant those dreams in fertile soil, and they'll come true.
All right, we said a parable is a story that has a lesson or a message. And I think the lesson from the story of the seed and the sower is that we need to pay attention where our seeds and our thoughts go, so we can take care of them and watch them grow and grow and grow in amazing ways. And we have an affirmation to go with that. Our affirmation is, my positive thoughts grow big and strong. My positive thoughts grow big and strong. And my friend Barry, because he loves gardening so much and he's such a talented musician, he has actually written a few songs and has some favorite songs about gardens. And he's going to do one for us today.
Yeah, so this is a song called Growing Our Garden. I wrote this for one of our camps a few years ago, and it's just about our thoughts growing just like seeds. The world is a garden, so fertile and fine, and we get to tend it while we're together in time. We live in a greenhouse, what a beautiful show. We're learning by reaping all the seeds that we sow. We're growing our garden, we're planting good seeds, loving the rain, loving the sun. We got all that we need, already seeing the harvest that'll come in its own good time. We're growing our garden, and we're all growing up just fine. When the weeds come calling, as weeds always do, we'll take time to pull them so all the good can get through. So glad to be in this garden, working together with you. We're keeping it simple, and we're keeping it true. We're growing our garden, we're planting good seeds, loving the rain, loving the sun. We got all that we need, already seeing the harvest that'll come in its own good time. We're growing our garden, and we're all growing up just fine. Yeah, we're growing our garden, and we're all growing up just fine.
All right. Thank you, Barry. Thanks, everybody.
welcome.
We'll see you next time.
Keep
Bye.
that garden growing.